Well, hello there, everybody. How are y'all doing? I'll tell you what, just I really do like Fleetwood Mac, particularly back in the Peter Green and Danny Kerwin days. Yeah, nothing wrong with that at all. That's all I got to say, and I'm going to stick with it. Uh, so let's see. I want to make sure that we're live, and it looks like we are so far out. Always glad to know that that is the case. So, anyway, how y'all doing? Happy Thursday. Speaking favor over us all, nothing missing, nothing broken. So, what's up, everybody? So good to see everybody. Thor's friend. There you go. Blessing. Appreciate that favor right back at you. Salt of the earth. Yeah, then. Yeah. Great, great music. I mean, those early albums, uh, I think, wow, I look at it and it was some really, what I would say, existential music. We had some good music back then. We have music today. Gaia, how you doing? The doctor is in the house. So good to see you, Mr. Floyd. Boy, I tell you, favor really comes in. You know, you keep speaking that nothing missing, nothing broken. It does work. So got my went in for a physical, got all my tests back, and yeah, doc says, whatever you're doing, keep on doing. Just simply smiled and said, far out, buddy, far out, really good. So, Guy, how are you doing? Ann, good to see you. And Rick, Michelle, Cecilia, Ariel, how are you? Good to see you. Multiversal God King. Oh, I love that. It's a good handle. Favor, prosperity, and power. Amen. Hey, Lilith, how are you, darling? Good to see you, Steve. Hello, brother. How are you? Go, all the way from Croatia. Wow. Yeah. Yeah, I saw Fleetwood Mac as well, on Good Times. I mean, saw him a number of times and good memories. That's all I got to say. And if past lives are suggestive of the fact that we can recall a memory, I'm all for it. Linda Espinoza, how are you? I know you said yesterday that you hadn't seen me in a while, but I watch. I know, sweetie. I was just bringing out the fact I guess I hadn't saw you in the chat, but I know you're there as well as Mr. Robert V. How are you, my friend? Milky Way Soul Tribe. Know thyself. Good to see you. Brandon, hello. What's up, buddy? Jackie, Purgatory Traveler. Good to see you. Know thyself. John Price, what's up, brother? Elderberry, hello. Yeah, still the folks down in Houston apparently still sweating their ass off, or not everybody's got the power going on. So we continue to send the favor to those electrical workers. And I mean, yeah. So did y'all hear today that Shirley Duvall passed? She's crossed over. Wow. Mm. She was a a great actress, I really have to say, because she wasn't, as you would go by what the Hollywood standard is, was a particular beauty, so to speak, but she was really good. I mean, The Shining. I mean, what can you say? Thought her role in Popeye as olive oil was pretty right on. I don't know. But anyway, and then I read as well, I enjoyed Alf. How many of y'all remember back in the day when Alf was on? Well written, good humor, and the fact that you really think about it, it was really soft disclosure. An alien crashes on planet Earth, and the alien is an animal, but smarter than the humans. Sure, there was no message in that, but yeah. So Benji, who played the young child, they found him dead, so passed over. Wow. So, What else going on? Lady Rose? Yeah. Let's see. Millie, good to see you as well, Lady Ellie. Greetings. Um, so Emperor Rex, good to see you as well, good sir. What about my favorite alien back in goes to tell you, think about it. Miss M, good to see you as well. Claudette, hello. Yeah. Anyway, when Christine McVie crossed over, that was a loss. And Bob Rear is gone, Peter Green and Danny and all the rest of them. Wow, our planet was truly visited with the inspiration for a time. And we need inspiration today because we're going to get into a book that really has a lot of bearing on reincarnation, depending on your point of view. Um, because as we continue to explore this fact, how many lives have we had before? There is the counter to that is that you're given one life, one soul, one spirit, and then you're going to be judged hard. And we're going to read about Enoch. Enoch, it's a book I know, I studied it in depth. Um, I mean, just right off the top, as I look back now with the God spell broken, and I'm scratching my head. In fact, I was thinking about this morning as I was meditating. We're taught that there are laws and that laws can't be broken. And if laws are broken, that, apparently there's a consequence, typically negative. Okay. So humans, reincarnation, not reincarnation. But yet, when you take the construct of this God creator that we're going to talk about, so he violated his own laws. Enoch never saw death, neither did Elijah. It's the two stories we have in the Old Testament that immortality in the physical form is apparently not only possible, but has happened. If you go with the story. Hey, Deborah, good to see you as well, Claudette. CLT, what's up? Doll, hello. So it's interesting. So you have this cat, Enoch, that apparently he's right there in the lineage of Adam, lived a perfect life, or so they say. I don't know what that meant. And he, when he was taken, was 365 years of age. Makes one think, huh? And we're going to read about that transition. And of course, the story of Elijah is fascinating within himself. Elijah was Merlin. That's the best way to put it. He would have been Merlin. Elijah was able to manipulate time, space, matter. Pretty freaking powerful sorcerer. Prophet? One would have to think, right? Um, so he was abducted. Yeah, I see that, Susie Sunshine 333. Yeah, think about it. And Elijah was carried up in a ship. One of the better descriptions of a spaceship. An alien abductee. But it was from this God. Well, we know in Ezekiel that this God cannot exist in this atmosphere, apparently. I mean, in Ezekiel, we have, this the spinning chair. Yeah. So let's get right into it. Hello, voiceover. How you doing? Good to see you. Because this is a fascinating book. And I'll just start out with this. If this is what God is, this is the creator, we're all fucked. I'm just going to tell you. because it brings up so many issues that this God had already created this place called hell before we ever came along, apparently. This God hates, this God consumes, this God destroys that which it creates, that which it says it loves. It gets pretty scary. And Rick, how you doing, brother? Good to see you as well. So let's get right into it, because to me, it's kind of fun to read this thing, because now I can read it like a F. Paul Wilson book or a Dean Koontz, because now the characters, the antagonist has changed. My perspective is completely altered. Man, this used to scare the crap out of me. Hey, Guy, how you doing? How's Paul? All right, so chapter one, we'll get right into it. And let's just say this as well. This is one of these books that's controversial, particularly because it's not included in the canon scriptures, but yet it is referred to those books or letters that are in the canon approved list. So you don't put the book in, but you make reference to it. How the hell does that work? It's a spell. Um, the words of the blessing of Enoch, wherewith he blessed the elect and righteous. Well, right there, you have a real racism bigotry thing going on, because you have the elect, well, who elected them, and the righteous. Well, you know, I've had some great meals in my past that were righteous. So what does that mean? I know what it's implying, but still, who will be living in the days of tribulation? Now, if you believe this book in its authenticity, no one really knows when it was written. It's pretty well thought that it was way after all these events. So here we are reading words from what? A human. And all humans have great imaginations. Serious. Where do you think Walt Disney's head was at? Think on that one. So apparently we are that generation. We apparently have the signs that the seals are being broken, and all hell is really about to. We've lived in the first half, and we thought that that was kind of bad, but it wasn't real bad. Now apparently we're coming into the second half of the game, and holy crap. So I guess that he's writing to us. Okay. Because it's really us. When I say us, they didn't have this book, well, apparently not out in public, 1,000 years ago, not even 500 years ago. All right. And when the wicked and godless are to be removed. Well, by the context, you are of the wicked and the godless. Now, I'd like to punch this one in the nose for writing that, because how dare you assume what I am or not? Anyway, and Enoch, a righteous man whose eyes were opened by God. Huh. So why doesn't this God open everybody's eyes? I mean, it should be an equal playing field, right? 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 Anyway, took up his parable and said, I saw the vision of the Holy One in the heavens, which the angel showed me. And from them I heard everything, and from them I understood, as I saw, but not for this generation, but for a remote one, which is for to come. Breaking this down, commentary. So he had a vision of the Holy One, okay, that are in the heavens. Not just a heaven, but in the heavens, which the angels showed him. Apparently not just one, but many. And from them I heard everything. And from then I understood as I saw, but not for this generation. So he had his eyes open. So, all right, did he take a pill? Did he take a tab? Did he take a hit? Well, something happened. And this God's playing favorites again because, he's opening one, but not all. All right, it says, concerning the elect, I said, and took up my parable concerning them, the holy great one will come forth from his dwelling. So that implies that he lives on a planet. Very simply. These are aliens we're talking about. These are not humans. And so if they're not humans, then they're non-terrestrial. And apparently we have now validation that there is an existence of consciousness that transcends all dimensions, all planes. And this one, calling itself the Holy Great One, lives in his dwelling, not hers, Lucy, but his. And again, dwelling implies a place. It's not floating up in the sky, or is it? And the eternal God will tread upon the earth, even upon Mount Sinai, and will appear in the strength of his might from the heaven of heavens, clearly establishing that there is a hierarchy. There's not just a heaven. Where have we read that? Well, we read that about the fire, the children of fire. Great role-playing game, but we found so much in it. It was very deep and perfectly described the different levels of heaven. If you believe in the paradigm, hell is in heaven. It's just the lower parts. And the high mountains shall be shaken, and the high hills shall be made low, and shall melt like wax before the flame. Well, okay, so now we got Earth. He's attacking Earth. Obviously, tectonic shifting going on here on a grand scale. And apparently, there's either the sun goes nova or the Earth gets hit. I love this because now I can look at this and going, yeah. All the religious bullshit. Yeah. But let me just hear what they're really saying here. And I look at this and I'm going, this is obviously potentially an alien attack. Maybe in our generation. Maybe that's why all those freaking motherships are up there. I don't know. And the earth shall be made wholly rent in sunder. That means kicking ass, taking names, and dispensing. And all that is upon the earth shall perish, and there shall be a judgment upon all. Again, if this all started from one being, then it needs to judge itself before it comes over on our side. Because he is the one that fucked this thing up. Just reading his words. But with the righteous, he will make peace. Well, obviously, this is a small minority of humans and will protect the elect. When I was a Christian, if you had the blood of Jesus covering your sins, you were considered one of the elect. But the problem with that is that that's a Christian adaptation from a religion that they had no right to, the Judaism. And they have a whole different story as to what the elect is. And mercy shall be upon them, and they shall be all belong to God, and they shall be prospered, and they shall be blessed, and he will help them all, and light shall appear unto them. Now, maybe I'm wrong, but isn't that what the morning star is, Lucifer? No, we can't be talking about that. And he will make peace with them. So that implies there's a war. Apparently, He's pissed off at us, that war with us. But he apparently, has this golden Willy Wonka ticket, and not many people are going to get the ticket, I don't know. Because why would he need to make peace? The only reason why you would need to make peace is that there's the assumption that there's an existing war, a state of war, a war consciousness, however you want to apply it. And behold, he cometh with 10,000 of his holy ones to execute judgment upon all. Well, that's a slaughter. Apparently, they're coming to kill, rape, murder. It's an interesting thing about murder. When God says to kill, it's all right. But if you kill, it's murder. And in our day and time, murder has both the good and the bad. The state, when it executes a prisoner on death row, that's the state committing murder. If the idiot in chief sends what he wants to do is send all our young men and women to war to die, that's murder. But that's acceptable because now you can have all sorts of patriotism around that one. And we know that apparently 10,000s of his holy ones. Wow. It's got a standing army. And to destroy all the ungodly, and to convict all flesh of all the works of their ungodliness, which they have ungodly committed. A lot of ungods going on here, isn't it? It's the whole thing is if Lucifer started this rebellion, the only way a perfected being could somehow become imperfect, as we have discussed, he had to have seen imperfectness. But anyway, they're coming here to kick our ass is what they're going to do. This is, and they're going to slaughter us. They don't care what the hell you think or believe. You're dead. And don't matter whether you're young, old, sick, healthy, doesn't matter. They're coming to kill us. Now, I don't know how one human can worship such a deity as this. And what the Book of Enoch talks about ain't pretty. This book is about death, our suffering in eternity. Well, I don't know how he can have me suffer for eternity if he's going to wipe my fucking brain. I got no fucking consciousness, so what does it matter? I ain't going down without swinging. All right, so creation. We know the Genesis story. Let's see how this works. It says, observe ye everything that takes place in the heaven, how they do not change their orbits. So he's talking about planets, stars, and the luminaries which are in the heaven, how they all rise and set in order each of its seasons, and transgressors not against their appointed order. It's pretty deep here. Sounds to me like astronomy and its twin, astrology. Behold ye the earth, and give heed to the things which take place upon it from first to last, how steadfast they are, how none of the things upon earth change, but all the works of God appear to you. Behold the summer and the winter, how the whole earth is filled with water and clouds and dew and rain upon it. Well, there's another interpretation of this. He's merely describing the elementals, saying that, the planet is orbiting around a star, and in that orbit, I mean, you look at this and, okay, so this God's taking credit for all that. Okay. 3, observe and see how in the winter all the trees seem as though they have withered and shed all their leaves, except 14 trees, which do not lose their foliage, but retain the old foliage from 2 to 3 years till the new comes. Well, I can interpret that now as that we're talking about large geographic areas. Okay. And again, observe ye the days of summer, how the sun is above the earth over against it, and you seek shade and shelter by reason of the heat of the sun. And the earth also burns with growing heat, and you cannot tread upon the earth or on a rock by reason of its heat. So, you got this big thing about climate change today. Well, those that make such proclamations really ought to first really think before they talk. Because it appears here that, to me, this is hot. I mean, hot. Are we talking near the equator? I would probably say in a much more, yeah, in a temperate zone, may even be a desert. It's hot. And they bring out the reason is the sun. Oh, shit. Then it goes on to say, observe ye how the trees cover themselves with green leaves and bear fruit. I mean, this is esoteric occult knowledge, right? There is seasons. It's a cycle. Therefore, give you heed and know with regard to all his works, and recognize that he that liveth forever hath made them so. Now, I got a problem when I see his because, unless there's a her, it means the natural state of things would be more, what would that mean? Homosexual? Don't seem to be heterosexual. I don't know. And his works go on thus from year to year forever. Well, that would indicate that there's no ending to this cycle. Is this reincarnation? Because if you observe what trees go through, I would say that that's a perfect definition, right? And behold how the sea and the rivers and the like matter accomplish and change not their task from his commandments. But ye have not been steadfast, nor done the commandments of the Lord. Well, we all know now, we can read this and we're going, okay, we're not talking about God anymore. We're talking about something holding an office that's calling itself Lord. Now, you can have Lord as a singular, you can have Lord God. It gets technical. But ye have turned away and spoken proud and hard words with your impure mouths against his greatness. O ye hard-hearted, ye shall find no peace. That's a curse. Okay. Sneezed. Excuse me. I don't know. This God's really good at cursing. He really is. Therefore shall ye exaggerate your days, and the years of your life shall perish, and the years of your destruction shall be multiplied in eternal abomination, and ye shall find no mercy. I mean, that's enough to scare the crap out of most people and say, hey, I ain't saying a word. In those days ye shall make your names as eternal abomination upon all the righteous, and by you shall also all who curse. All the sinners and godless shall imprecate by you. Imprecate. And for you, the godless, there shall be a curse. Now, I'm going through this also for another, John Dees, we're going to get into some of his books. So here's my problem. If there is a modality of magic called Enochian magic, I can't go for it because of where it's centered as to what it's calling its power source. This beast, this whatever the hell this thing is. This can't be fucking God. I mean, this is a horrible creature. Yaldabaoth. And all the righteous shall rejoice, and there shall be forgiveness of sins, and every mercy and peace and forbearance. So why the fuck is it here that just the righteous are getting this when, wait a minute, I thought that this God doesn't see people in favoritism. Because if he's doing it for these people, that means that you're assuming that they're human, although there are in fact three distinct type of humans. But in any case, and there shall be forgiveness of their mistakes and every mercy. In other words, I know you screwed up. That's all right. And peace and forbearance. Forbearance means to be tolerant. Listen, I know you're going to screw up again, but listen, it's all right. Don't worry about it. It's the natural process of this is what it's saying. But it's saying that this is only for a select few. And to have a creator that is so bifurcated in its perception of what life is, there's no way that this can be the life realm. Living under this shit, this is hell. Says, and all the righteous shall rejoice, and there shall, and there shall be salvation unto them, a goodly light. All right, so the science fiction part of my brain's going, all right, what type of light are they talking about? A goodly light. Could it be like it was where Saturn gave a light into Earth? That was called a good light. Don't know. And for all of you sinners, see what I'm talking about? There shall be no salvation, but on you all shall abide the curse of the beast. So, time out. When did this curse of the beast, and who the hell's the beast? And what did the beast do to piss you off that it cursed? It got cursed, and then apparently it's got, apparently foul odor that it just, its presence just is a curse to be around. What? And then there shall be bestowed upon the elect wisdom. Excuse me. But if you're purposely withholding information, knowledge, teaching that would better an individual so that this individual would not be in this class, but you withheld that and then you fault them. How the hell does that work? Just asking for a friend. And they shall all live and never again sin, either through ungodliness or through pride, but they who are wise shall be humble. It's this double standard. It's like trying to herd cats. It's nearly impossible. If you spilt mercury, on the floor, good luck trying to get it all. And they shall not again transgress, nor shall they sin all the days of their life. So are we talking a limited life? Are we talking about an immortal life? What type of life are we talking about? Nor shall they die of anger or wrath, but they shall complete the number of the days of their life. There's no promise of immortality here. It's talking about the physical plane. I mean, you can just contemplate on this and go, what? And when I was studying, I studied this in a whole different, my eyes, oh man, I was wearing a different set of lenses, that's for sure. And their lives shall be increased in peace, and the years of their joy shall be multiplied in eternal gladness and peace all the days of their life. So we're using a number of things, and multiplied in eternal gladness. I mean, is that a thing? Is that a force? Is it a power? What is that? But it also shows why that now humans have never been able to live in peace. We've sought it, we've eagerly wanted it, but it always seems to escape us. So there's my commentary on this. So let's get into these fallen angels. Because here again, God must be Joe Biden in his attitude and his demeanor. Because it seems like this cat's sleeping on the job a lot. And then when he finds out, oh shit, that happened. Are you kidding me? Then he goes and blames everybody else. Got to throw in some modern day political satire. All right. Chapter 3, the fallen angels. And it came to pass when the children of men had multiplied that in those days were born unto them beautiful and comely daughters. All right, so stop here, folks, for a second then. Let's see what this is saying. And it came to pass, implying that there was a time when there were not beautiful, desirous women. Often wonder what was the view of a voluptuous woman. Many of you ladies in here, I mean, think about it. It's changed over the millennia, but anyway. So here is this species, us. Now, I don't know if these are humans. They may be actually, well, the last pure humans. But apparently, and I often wonder, were they wearing clothes or not? I mean, if you lived in a temperate zone, I don't know. Were those cultures ashamed of women's breast? Or is it that the reason why they cover the women's breast is so that they can make money on the other side of the equation? And the angels, the children of heaven. So we've got two different species here. We've got the children of this heaven, which, by the way, is implying it's as a physical place. It's physical. Not etherical, not spiritual, not something in the pie sky. There apparently is a physical heaven. Now, if you have children of heaven, someone is having serious coitus. That's all I can say. Because you can't got children if you ain't got no, coitus going on. Sex. Screwing. I mean, right? Just talking kind of logical, right? I mean, we can't have children as humans unless someone got together with someone, and they did the hump. You know what I'm talking about? Okay. Saw and lusted after them, and said to one another, come, let us choose us wives from among the children of men and beget us children. All right, so now I'm real confused here. So you got these angels that apparently can, I don't know, maybe they got devices on their wrist, or apparently they can fly. Apparently they have the ability to, I don't know, make themselves invisible, or literally open a portal and transcend into another plane. But it's interesting that an angel would lust. What? There's no angels that have tits? I mean, just asking for a friend. So angels lusting after women. They didn't lust after men, apparently. And then they wanted to start their own tribe. Now, if you have an all knowing, all seeing God, wouldn't he have been witnessing this? And if he was all knowing, didn't he know that this was going to happen? Because what we're talking about here is a contamination of a bloodline, ours. This seems to be either the first, maybe the third intrusion. I don't know. Depends on your point of view. But it's an intrusion into our bloodline and contamination. Let's get the characters now. So Simjaza, who was their leader, said unto them, so there's obviously a hierarchy of command. Now, if all of this existed before we were created, how do we have a choice in this matter? It proves that we were born not as what we thought, as free will, sentient beings. Because if you do other than what the master says, you're going to die. He's going to kick your ass. What creator does that? But anyway, let's get back into this intrusion. Now, he says to his fellow angels, I mean, what are they doing? Just hanging out and drinking beer, maybe getting a little bit of Crown Royal? Are they just drunk? Are they just, what they need to do is be smoking some of the ganja, and maybe trying some of the mushrooms, because you wouldn't be thinking this kind of shit. But anyway, it's obviously alcohol's involved here. But let's continue. Um, he says, I fear you will not indeed agree to do this deed, and I alone shall have to pay the penalty of a great sin. So this gives the idea now that the sin thing, it was never our thing, because it was a thing before it became our thing. Apparently, these angels got a sin thing as well. And it's interesting. I mean, what they were just saying, so this implies that they have a penis. I mean, what were they doing? Just jacking off and just going, maybe we ought to try it with those females, because it implies there may not even be female angels. But then if there's not female angels, then how do they have children? I know it's a metaphor, but anyway, it's adult language. Just you're all adults. So he's saying, listen, I'm going to go and do this, but you got to come with me. Then they all answered him and said, let us all swear an oath. So oaths are a big deal. They're very well established in the death realm. When you die, apparently there's this whole structure. I wonder how many oaths you have sworn that you're going to be held accountable to when your body drops. Just reading the script, not implying that that's the case. And they all bind ourselves to a mutual and precautions not to abandon this plan, but to do this thing. So they're planning on this in one sense, it's a rape. It's a rape, not only even if the women are, complicit with it. I mean, these apparently are higher intelligent beings. And again, I get this whole DNA thing, man. I mean, so how does their DNA entwine with our DNA? It's deep. But apparently they're going to go ahead and do it. Then they sweared they all together and bound themselves by mutual imprecations upon it. And they were in all 200 who descended in the days of Jared on the summit of Mount Hermon. And they called it Mount Hermon because they had sworn and bound themselves by mutual imprecations upon it. So these beings come down here to earth. Again, you got this God. Where's Michael and Gabriel and all this, you know? So you got 200. That's an invading force. I mean, if you have 200 aliens coming down, wherever they're coming down to meet, I wouldn't want to be in that area, to be candid with you. Whew. We get the names. These are the names of their leaders. Semzalza, their leader. Akhlaba, Remel, Kobabel, Tamel, Ramiel, Daniel, Ezekiel, Bar Quakiel, Asmael, and I'm not going to go on anyway. You got the leaders of this. So depending, I guess, what is this, the 20? Yeah. And then all the other together with them took unto themselves wives, and each chose for himself one, and they began to go into them and to defile themselves with them. So it's implying, I don't know if these are rapes. I don't know if it's obviously abductions to me. I mean, this had to be a horrific scene. Not saying it happened, but let's just pretend it did happen. So let's go back in time and let's put ourselves as watchers, observers about what the hell just took place here. And the thing I would do is look over there at Robert and I go, where's the big guy at? Isn't he seeing what the hell's going on? Where are the cops? Where's Michael? Where's Gabriel? Where's Raphael? Where are you guys? And I mean, did these women fight? And we don't know if they're young girls. We don't know more than that, but we know that they came in and raped them. They defiled them. Now it says they defiled themselves with them. Whew, that had to be a bad scene, man. Talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. Holy crapola. I mean, I could make a freaking movie out of that. That scene alone would take you could build up to it. And the damage that was done to our species. I'm assuming these were Homo sapiens. I'm assuming that. I mean, yeah. So then they taught them the charms and the enchantments and the cutting of roots and made them acquainted with plants. Well, this has all sorts of, you got to go, no, well, wait a minute. So humans didn't know this? What were we were doing? What, just standing around and throwing our shit at one another? I mean, come on. And then this thing from, you just look at this from a geneticist point of view, and they became pregnant. And they bear great giants whose height was 3,000 ells. Actually, it's uh, the and I know it suddenly I had it right there in the tip of the tongue, who consumed all the acquisitions of men. And when men could no longer sustain them, the giants turned against them and devoured mankind. Well, we read this in the King Og. We read exactly what happened. And, and people I got back in the day, man, so many Christians that used to watch this, it was raging against you. It's like, how dare do you bring this kind of stuff out? Well, guess what, cowboy? Here it is. So, by the way, the 3,000 L's, if I am correct, and I know I am, it's 4,500 feet is what it translates out into our system. And so here they raped the women. They actually harvested the women, we found out, because the Nephilim and the Raphaim could not have, they didn't bear females. And we know the moon child from the book, The King of Oz, that the moon child was the last female Nephilim. You know what happened to her? So this is a bloody, ugly thing. On a cosmic level, this is what I would say. Mankind has a charge against this God. This God allowed this genetic intrusion into our bloodlines. And no matter what our future may have been or not been, it was forever altered because of this event. And there's some foundation that says this did happen. May not have had it in the religious connotations, but something happened, we know. Just a bad day, and then it gets worse. And they began to have sex with birds and beasts and reptiles and fish, and to devour one another's flesh and drink the blood. Then the earth laid accusation against the lawless ones. This wasn't our doing. And you know what gets me about Christianity? All the fucking religions. Don't come and tell me about my sin. Fuck you. Because I'm going to haul your ass back to these type of writings and say, explain this. You cannot hold one human accountable for anything. You allowed this to happen. Well, I mean, since you're the one claiming to be God, not even a savior can save us. What is the savior going to do? Somehow regenerate our DNA? How is that going to work? Terrible what was going on here. And Azazel, we've studied Azazel, taught men to make swords and knives and shields and breastplates, and made known to them the metals of the earth and the art of working with them, and bracelets and ornaments, and use of anatomy and the beautifying of the eyelids, and all kinds of costly stones and all coloring tinctures. This is alchemy. This is magic. This is the highest form of alchemy. And if you go by the story, which makes it kind of fun because you go, yeah, you got your finger to point to. I mean, they taught us these things. They taught us technology, which would have been interpreted as advanced leaps. Now, think about this for a second, folks, and I may go over a little bit on this. I probably will. So now they've contaminated our bloodline. They've changed our destiny, and now they've brought knowledge to us that apparently it would imply we were not evolved enough to do it ourselves. And the implications of what it's saying about humanity on this is you just got to go, well, what was the conditions really like? Now, these aliens, these are not demons, these are not angels, these are aliens. I have no doubt they came down in ships. And it's still the fact that they could breed with us. That's just... Some think that these may have been the reptilians. I don't know. And there arose much godliness, and they committed fornication, means that apparently humans didn't have sex. So now everybody's screwing everybody. And they were led astray and became corrupt in all their ways. I guess rock and roll, they're going to blame, came into the scene. Here are these angels going, oh, yeah, baby, go, and just doing the whole thing of, corn, and just getting out there and just banging their heads, and going, let's party, come on, yes, Satan, yes, Satan. I mean, what the hell was going on here? Apparently, all indications is that there was one hell of an orgy going on. Now, Simjaza, this cat, taught the enchantments and root cutting. Amoros, the resolving of enchantments. These are spells. This is why Enochian magic is really as powerful as it is, if you believe the narrative here. And this narrative is sown throughout virtually every part of the occult that I know of. It's in virtually every religion. So they taught us spells. It's still mind-blowing when you just stop and think about this. But Rajael taught astrology Kokabel taught constellations. Esquil, the knowledge of the clouds, weather. Arquiel, the signs of the earth. Shemzel, the signs of the sun. And Sariel, the course of the moon. Astronomy, astrology. And as men perished, they cried, and their cry went up to heaven. Again, the fact that this species was allowed to do this to us. Now, another turn of point of view is that, again, I think the alien narrative works perfectly in here. It fits exactly in this. And the fact that they were doing genetic experiments on us. I mean, to get a woman pregnant, again, to think about this logically, how, excuse me, how did that happen? I mean, and the drinking of blood, when I look at this, so they're devouring, they're becoming into cannibalism. They're drinking the blood. Why? I mean, this is vampire. You could literally get into the horrors of what was going on here. And why would a merciful, loving God allow this to take place? You see, it's not mankind's fault. No, we're victims here. And that's the problem. We've been victims. So all what we're going to be reading, and we'll pick up on this even tomorrow, is because of this alien intrusion. And then you have, much like having, someone comes in and has to pick up all the crap. There's a lot of damage done here. Genetically, apparently, it can't be reversed. Now, that always amazed me as well, is that why isn't this all-powerful God, this creator who created everything, why didn't it have the ability to reverse the DNA damage? So then we get, this is why we know these angels are politicians, because we get a load of bullshit coming to us. So then Michael, Uriel, Raphael, and Gabriel looked down from heaven and saw much blood being shed upon the earth and all lawlessness being wrought upon the earth. Again, what? They suddenly checked in and gone, oh shit. Do you believe what those guys did? I mean, this is crazy. And they said to one another, the earth made without inhabitants cries the voice of their cryingest up to the gates of heaven. So look at this. So it says earth made without inhabitants, implying there was a time when the earth was here and we weren't. Our species, AWOL, not here. And they look at us as substandard, lower class beings. And so when they're saying their voices are crying out, it means our kind were being slaughtered, tortured. I mean, this is what grieves my heart where the divine feminine is concerned. What an assault on the divine feminine. She was raped repeatedly. And yet modern day religions, they don't want to take any accountability for their God for doing this. Oh, no. It wasn't our God is holy. Our God is righteous. How dare you speak anything? Because I got the fucking word right here. Where the hell was everybody? No one came to our rescue then. They ain't going to come to our rescue now. And now to you, the holy ones of heaven, the souls of men make their suit, saying, bring our cause before the Most High. Well, these are dead souls. And somehow or another, we don't, you can see that apparently we don't have access to this God. Sorry, God's schedule is too full. And besides, you're humans. What gives you the right to be in here, you know? Um, so we're being slaughtered. Our mothers, our daughters are being raped, abducted, dying. See, that's the other thing is the women never survived these births. They died. Again, you try to even imagine the scene. Um, and then we'll pick up here tomorrow. And they said to the Lord of the ages. Now, this is not the Lord God. This is another office. Said, Lord of lords, God of gods, King of kings, the God of the ages, the throne of thy glory standeth unto all the generation of the ages, and thy name holy and glorious and blessed unto all ages. What a line of rock that is. What? I mean, that's just like listen to a politician saying, no, 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 our president, is completely of a fine mental capacity. And, it's like this, a line of bullshit. This is where politicians learn their bullshit. Yeah, it comes naturally to us. Thou hast made all things, and power over all things hast thou, and all things are naked and open in thy sight, and thou seest all things, and nothing can hide itself from thee. So by this implication, this son of a bitch is guilty, or he is a sick MFer. I mean, this dude is bad, bad, bad. And this is the Christian God? This is the Islamic God? This is the Hindu God? This is the Jew? What God are we talking about here? Anyway, I'll stop right there. Pick it up on tomorrow. Because this is important. So if we read this story, where are all those souls? Those people that were slaughtered by these aliens, i.e., angels, now demons. And the problem is that how can they become a demon when in the book of Enoch, in fact, it's written in the book of Revelation as well, they're locked in the pit. They're literally encased in stone. So how can, these high-ranking demons be out floating around and having something wrong there? But yet, getting back to the point, where were those souls? Did they reincarnate? It implies that it's not the case. Rage Against the Machine, thank you. Much love to you. Thank you, Lost Displays. Peace there. But anyway, they may, Stephanie, that may be true. It's the reason why I enjoy talking it with this group here, because you talk about this and you go from a different holiness, where it's like, oh, but if you really examine this, it doesn't make sense. Because there's a whole lot of accountability that's not being accounted for. And if this God is all-knowing, all-seeing, then it allowed this to happen. It allowed women to be raped, young girls. It allowed the contamination of a species, forever again altering our destiny. And if that's the case, then you can look at the world today and saying good and evil. I don't care about the evil. It's the good that I'm more concerned about, because it apparently was the good that allowed the evil to take place. But I don't see any problem with the evil, because again, the evil seems to have been the afterthought of the good. So, thank you, Sunshine. I know this stuff. And I believe I give a commentary that's not given in any other channel on YouTube on this subject. You start breaking this down, and again, this is an indictment against all the world religions of today. And yet, They want to abdicate of any responsibility and say, ain't our fault, it's your fault. Well, we got a response for you in both sides. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Gaia. God is something that would get me banned for saying. Yeah, preliminary, so many questions, wondering where to start. Yeah. Thank you, Rick. All right, everyone. Much love to you. Pick up on this tomorrow because we're going to continue on. And again, we'll pull in all of this into the reincarnation about us. Are we truly prisoners here? The more and more that you read, the more and more indications is like, we're trying to get out of here. And we're beginning to realize how long we have been prisoners. I mean, once you break free from the confines of this whole thing of religion and this so-called holy God, you begin to realize this is a trap. Yeah. Thank you, Robert V. Much appreciation. Grace, thank you, darling. Uma, you're welcome. So thank you, everyone. We'll pick up on this tomorrow, continue with it. Let me know what you think as well. I appreciate party time. Thor